Hey, my dudes, how's it going? Welcome back to How to Kick Ass with Both Feet. I'm really happy to be here. I need to maybe gear it down a little bit. Yes, this is a cheetah onesie. You are correct. I actually put it on last video and I was going to put the little hood on and show you all because I was talking about self-care. And one of the ways I take care of myself at the end of a tough day, I put on my cheetah onesie and, eat something delicious or watch something funny or just kind of smooth around in my comfy clothes. And it's really great. I treat myself like a 3-year-old and it works wonders. But I totally forgot to fucking flip up the hood and show you, so that'll just have to be a surprise. Stay tuned. One of these days I will do my video in my little cheetah or leopard onesie or whatever kind of big cat it is. So I am sticking with the maybe somewhat obvious theme of love this month. Last week I talked about self-love and how that kind of works in my life and my thoughts on that. There's tons to say about it, but I just said a little last week. And this week I'm talking about the concept of being in love. So what I have come to find for myself, and I'm still exploring how this works because it's kind of a meta, radical concept that maybe one could spend lifetimes really soaking in and feeling on an experiential level. But I have had glimpses of the truth of this in that what I'm talking about or trying to talk about is this idea of not needing another person with whom to be in love. And I think that's the cause of a lot of suffering, believing that I can't love or be loved or be in love unless I have this other person who I can love and who also loves me back and who I can be guaranteed of their love. So there's so much suffering in how we approach relationship when we're seeking and grabbing and being needy and looking for just the right person, and then they're going to fulfill all our heart's desires and they're going to be everything to us. I have definitely been the kind of person who has looked for love in this way, as though it's something outside of me and as though this other person can give it to me somehow. And every relationship, when I pursued it that way, has failed. There's other factors that have gone into that. For one, I was addicted to drugs and alcohol for 16 years, and so did not have a good filter on who I was attracting and who I was choosing and who I thought I deserved and that kind of thing. There were a lot of train wrecks and a lot of hot messes on both of our parts. But I've still been that kind of person that has looked for a relationship and just thinking I'm incomplete and I won't be complete until I find this other person. And that just isn't how it works. And I know it's hard to believe this because we can point to our lives and say, look, when this person was here, I was happy. And then when they left, I was sad. But it's still, I promise, it all goes back to our thoughts about a thing and this belief that we needed that person to experience love. And this is a big concept that I'm trying to just make a quick YouTube video about. So I understand that there's way more to talk about and way more to think about. These are just ideas that I want to throw out there. And then if you like this idea, you can do more research on it or experimenting for yourself or contemplating it or meditating with it or just trying it on and see how it goes. I just wanted to throw it out there as something that I've learned and appreciated and wanted to include in this whole love theme. But we actually can experience love without another person. And paradoxically, we can experience it with all and every person. Now, there are still things that we appreciate and choose to partner with others to experience that we can't alone, like physical touch, for instance, sexual intimacy, the juice of being with a person and building a life with them and laughing together and going out and doing all those things. Those are real experiences that are nice to have for sure. And I understand that there's a longing when we don't feel like we have a partner to share life with or to share hard times with or whatever we're doing when we're in a partnership or relationship with other human beings. But I think it's a really important and kind of radical thing to practice wrapping your mind around, which has to do with recognizing that love is all around us. I believe we exist in love. And when we say that we're in love, it's like Ram Dass called it, love is a hot tub and we're soaking in the hot tub together. We don't need to wait for this other person, this mythical one, to come and let us experience love. And I've had very visceral realizations of this completely alone, and understanding suddenly that oh, I am love. I am in love. The source of love is within me and all around me, and I can feel that feeling of love regardless of what my like partnership status is. So I hope this is making sense. It's just something I wanted to try to throw out. And then how do you access this, right? Like, I don't know. One of the ways that I access it is just by practicing this idea, pulling myself out of dating culture and pulling myself out of beliefs and ideas that I have about the world and relationship and myself. And a lot of the ways that I kind of got to these more helpful thoughts and beliefs and ways of existing in the world was by just questioning everything that was causing suffering. So if I'm single and hating it, instead of just fighting against that and resenting being single, and maybe blaming men or blaming whoever or blaming myself, I started to just question, like, is it true that I actually need a partner right now to feel happy? And then conversely is like, or what's interesting about all this too is when I had the realization that I could access this feeling of love and worthiness and joy without a partner, I ended up attracting better partners, and now I'm in a very loving, healthy relationship. But I don't think that's like the reason to do this. I don't think it's some hack to like, oh, here's how to find your soulmate. But I think that when we're coming from a place of feeling complete already, we create better partnerships when we do choose to join our lives with someone else, because then we're just like, hey, I'm love, you're love, let's be in love together. Like, I don't need you to validate me, I don't need you to prove that I'm lovable, but we're in this together, and let's experience love together. So maybe I'm out of my element here trying to talk about these giant concepts, but I just wanted to share that because it's helped me a lot to realize that. And I still have moments where I fall out of it and I get in old fear-based thinking and mentalities, but I would just challenge you, especially in this day of like, or this time of Valentine's and like partnership and glorifying these magical, romantic, perfect relationships that don't really often exist. I'd really encourage you to like go within and just see, are you looking to someone else to validate your worthiness, or are you waiting for someone to allow you to feel in love? And do you think you might try to access this universal loving loveness that exists for all of us all the time? And if we're just willing to explore it and tap into it, we find that we can fall into it over and over and over again and more often and stay there more. And then the kind of things that swirl around us and are magnetized to us are so much more precious and beautiful and more in line with our heart's desire. And things get really exciting after that. So I hope this was useful. I hope that you are experiencing love in some form. I think you're lovable for sure. And thank you for being here. And I will see you next week. Adios.